It's just a question of who we're going to start with. Of course, I don't have a coin to flip.
Okay, I have a coin, so you can choose up. I say heads is Hipper, and the other side is HighCaliber King. Okay, you flip it up. So it's heads. So we go with Hipper.
Alright. Okay, first question from the Lonely Viper 93. Given all the Tier 7 ships released so far, what ships do you think would make a deadly duo when it comes to making a Tier 7 rank division?
In my opinion, I would probably go with either Wichita / Cleveland and Le Fantasque mix there. I was talking about this with Black Priest the other day, and I think that's about the the perfect mix we came up with.
Excellent.
Same question, of course, to you, HighCaliber.
Yeah, I would say with this ranked, I mean, with the power-ups, the Kansas and the Lightning, that's just because the Kansas has that massive alpha strike capability. The heals have changed the game. Lightning is pretty overpowered with having Twist and Trek now and having the smoke. I think a Lightning in Kansas would be phenomenal. The problem is I mean, I think a lot of people know that we're both cruiser guys. There aren't very many cruisers that can really deal with these battleships that have these massive amounts of healing power, and so they're kind of irrelevant in the late game. Yeah, so without the power-ups, I went with a Monarch and a Lightning, but I don't know if the power-ups are going to stay. So for now, I would say Kansas and Lightning.
That's very good. Anything else to add? Also, I'm gonna say welcome to Final Boss. I know he's in the audience and listening to us, so it's a big honor to have a Wargaming community manager in the audience. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. It's an honor.
Well, this is kind of a follow-up question to the previous one, and it's coming from the Titan Lord. Which cruiser do you guys think would be the most competitive pick for Tier 7 ranked? And what ship or class will you be playing for Tier 7 ranked?
To be honest, I haven't actually played a lot of ranked. I think I played the first season and I got really frustrated with it, to be honest. And I haven't really touched it since. But this time it is Tier 7 and I'm a little bit more interested in it. And I like following on from the previous question, I would probably go with Wichita or Cleveland. Not the most exciting cruisers to play, but I mean they are some of the best for ranked, I think. Possibly Edinburgh as well. Possibly.
Again, I with the rank that we have right now with the power-ups, all of the HE spamming cruisers, even though I love the Cleveland and I would normally pick the Cleveland, they just can't do enough damage to the battleships that have heals. And so, yeah, this is going to surprise people, but I'm going to go with the Edinburgh, just because of the fact that it's the only cruiser that can bow tank, and it has that capability to dev strike battleships when it needs to with YOLO torping and stuff.
What do you know? We agree on a cruiser there.
There's people here, and yeah, we're both gonna go with both go with Edinburgh, I guess. Kind of. He's definitely a contender with that with the ability to bow tank and needing to dev strike people or do massive amounts of damage. These heals have just changed it. To me, it's ruined the rank, but some people like it. So.
Okay, so you mean, both of you, that the meta of the rank 4 is kind of leaning to the more heals, and that makes the game harder, or it makes the game easier for those heals, especially for the battleship side?
It just makes it to where the battleships, I mean, you can be triple fired and or double fired, and you can be double fired and flooded, and if you got heals you're gaining health, like you're maintaining your health. You can be in a battleship with a flood, and if you have 2 of these progressive heal or permanent heals, you gain health while you're flooding. So it's making it to where anything that does damage over time, such as a Cleveland, a Tug, all the HE spammers, all of the consistent damage dealers, but not massive alpha damage dealers, they're irrelevant against the battleships. The only time that I would say that maybe the Cleveland, and I actually forgot this earlier, is that the Cleveland, if you're playing with something such as a Udachi or a Kagero, something that has that devastating strike capability, then maybe the Cleveland. But that was the only time that I would do a Cleveland. If I was playing solo, for sure I would do the Edinburgh. It's just no other cruiser has an ability to really matter against battleships.
Yeah, and just want to add on to that as well that I'm not a big fan of the whole power-up thing either. And that's one of the main reasons I'm still a little bit hesitant to dig into the tier 7 ranked.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. I'm only playing because I don't get free stuff, and it's free stuff, so.
It is the free stuff, and also it's the thing that people are greeting for the rewards. I mean, we are closing to have Missouri almost revealed to the public. I mean, there are people that they are reading so far that they have the points to the Missouri. At the moment, I think that Missouri may be 1 month away from people to cut up with the grind of the Missouri. So it is also a big factor. Imagine people that following up the community and also greeting for the Missouri to have such a ship in your port. So at this time I want to ask you how you see the implementation of the steel. I know this question is something that is out of the list we had, but
that's fine.
As we progress, I would like you also to have your opinion on the implementation from the wargaming. So you can start HighCaliber because you were the first, and then Hipper will follow up.
I think 30,000 steel for the Missouri is 3 times the amount of steel that should be required for it. I don't know. I won't be buying it, and I know multiple other people that won't be buying it. I think that Wargaming will be surprised with how many people don't use their steel on that. I'm gonna hold on to my steel for something else. The way I'm looking at it is over a year or so. I don't know the exact amount, but 30,000 steel worth of me grinding and playing modes that I haven't really wanted to play isn't worth me having an Iowa with a radar. Especially when our tier 7 premiums don't make a massive amount of credits such as the tier 10 premiums on PC. I think 30,000 is way too much. Maybe 15,000, and I would spend it, but there's no way I'm spending 30,000 steel on a Iowa with 1 radar. So that's my thought on it.
Okay, go with Hipper.
Yeah, I can pretty much echo what HighCal said. Although I think I like to have a long-term goal in the game, but perhaps 30,000 steel is a little bit too long-term. And then I also agree with HighCal that I'm not going to buy the Missouri at all. I will, just like him, I will hang on to my steel until there's something better in the shop. That's for sure. I have no interest, and I'm not a big battleship player. At least less than HighCal is, and of course that factors in as well. So I will be hanging on to my steel, and I think I'm at around 5,000 right now because I don't do any of the ranked stuff or anything like that. So I'm accumulating it really slowly.
Yeah, I'm at like I want to say like 15,000, and I love the Iowa. There's no way I'm spending that on even with me loving the Iowa, and like Hipper said, I play Battleship. I play all 4 classes now pretty consistently, and I love the Iowa, and the idea of a radar is awesome, but not worth that.
Okay, I think that we covered the whole thing with
Yep.
the steel. Rogue, you can go to the second question.
Okay. This one is coming from C.S. Rastritz, and he says, we asked, what is the major difference between an average player and a good player, and what determines the two titles? Also, who is the best player to watch or listen about on how to get better about the game, except of course the two of you.
Well, like if we assume that an average player and a good player has the same knowledge of the game, then I would say the more patient player will be the better one in the long term. And I think that's a general thing in this game. The more patient you are and the more cool and collected, the better you'll do. And I myself struggle a little bit with being patient at times. And then the best players to watch, like if we talk legends, I really enjoy watching Metajerk, and when I started out, I also watched a lot of T-Bull, and I still think that he's really good, probably the best for new players. But other than that, I actually watch the PC guys more, to be honest, from the Warships on PC. Like, a lot of the things are similar to Legends, and of course, if you just remember that it is for the PC version, then you'll be fine.
I would say that the biggest difference between average players and good players is how consistent they are and how much thought they put into what they're doing. Just by playing with other people and watching people, you can tell a good player from a good or above average player to an average player, just by seeing what they're paying attention to. How much they plan ahead, how much, when I play with somebody that I'm in communication with, via party chat or whatever, knowing, how much they know strengths and weaknesses of certain ships and how to counter ships. I think, part of the question was, what determines those titles? It's really about how consistent you are. A lot of average players, they YOLO, that, they go in a YOLO torp, or they go in and take their Gneisenau or their torpedo battleship, and they just go straight full forward at people. Or they played far too passively, and the average player will play too passively in a battleship, and they'll sit at the back of the map because they hate being spammed by HE or whatever. So I think the other part of it was, what determines. What was that?
You covered all the parts. I mean, the only part left from the question is name a player, PC or whatever, except yourself.
As far as the best players to watch or listen, that I would say, I'm gonna agree with Hipper. There's another one. T-Bull has been very consistent. Metajerk has come in. I didn't even know about Metajerk really until a couple months ago, probably. I would say T-Bull is more instructional, but Metajerk is putting out some pretty good content out of really good games. So, yeah, those two.
Okay. I'm kind of trying to keep counting, so it's 3.
Yeah. I wrote them down.
Okay, so the next question is from Rowan, HKC. Like we all know, how are CVs in your opinion? Was the latest changes a positive step? And what further adjustments would you like to see implemented? Are CVs ready to be introduced in competitive modes? So let's start with you on this one, Michael.
I'll keep it quick because I get that we're trying to get everything in time. CVs, in my opinion, I feel like they're the only time that they're a little underpowered or needing help is the accuracy against DDs, but in the right hands, they're pretty overpowered, I would say, especially against battleships with like the Lexington. The ability to smack a battleship for 30 grand, 25, or 25 grand, 20 grand, I think that's overpowered. They don't earn XP very well still, but at least now we're getting spotting ribbons and stuff. The latest change or positive step and further adjustments, I really like that they brought out the extra squadrons. Although it hurts me as a carrier player, it doesn't help me. it helps the community feel like they're getting, like, they have good AA, and even myself included, I enjoy playing AA ships now because I'm shooting down more planes and getting those medals, and so I feel like that's a very positive aspect that was brought. I feel like to finalize that is carriers need to be countered by AA cruisers a lot better than they are right now.
Do you think it'd be a good thing if it was actually introduced into ranked or even future competitive modes?
I don't think it's ready for ranked yet. I think there's a lot more fine-tuning that needs to happen. The community also needs to learn how to counter carriers a lot better. A lot of people just freak out and they kind of panic. If you play carriers consistently, you know how to counter them and how to deal with them. Not saying that I don't ever die from them, but they're not. Yeah, I think it's just the community needs to get used to it a lot more before they bring that into ranked or competitive modes.
Well, Hipper, your choice.
I largely agree. I think they're in a pretty good spot now. I don't play carriers a lot myself, but when I face them, I mean they are with a good player, like with any other class. Yeah, they are an absolute threat, and like you really have to to know what you're doing. So in standard, I think they're pretty good, and they haven't really been overpowered or breaking anything. Perhaps when the German tier 7 came out, it was a little bit tough on the AP bombs there. But since the nerf, I think it's working really well. And I also don't think they're ready for ranked or anything like that yet. Mostly because, just like HighCal said, the community needs to be a little bit more in tune with carriers and firstly how to play them and also how to counter them. So we need a little bit more time there, I think.
Okay.
So it's now 4 for 4 actually.
Yeah, 4 for 4.
And well, this was from Nano and Mojo. If you were able to change one thing about the game, what would you change, and what impact do you predict that your change would have?
Well, this one's a really easy one for me, because I think we need more transparency in the game, especially when it comes to mechanics that are still hidden from us. And I mean, you can take an obvious example like the armor viewer. We didn't have that for nearly 2 years, and I mean that is like knowing your armor layout is like one of the most important things in this game. And without an armor viewer, you'll have to go by what Wargaming says and what is said on the PC versions of the ships, but you could never be entirely sure that the layout was exactly the same as on PC, so it was a bit of a guessing game. So I definitely think there's more stuff that could be revealed to the player base, like some kind of dispersion numbers and any kind of stat that has impact on your performance, basically.
Okay.
Michael?
So we're definitely going to disagree on this one. I guess it's good for this little debate since we haven't really been able to debate much.
Yeah.
But number one thing, without a doubt, no questions asked, fix the dang fire chances of cruisers. It's entirely too easy to catch fires on battleships. To go in with that, it's the fire chance issue plus the battleships being inaccurate. It's just that you get in any cruiser, a Kuchezov, an Atago, a Chapayev, Martel, any of these cruisers that are the long-range HE spamming, they just catch fires too easy. I mean, I think the biggest thing is the commanders, but like an Atago or a Mogami with the Atago commander with 25% chance of fire, 22% chance of fire, that kind of stuff, it's just overwhelmingly ruining the game. Specifically because it revolves around on everybody, because when you have ships that can do that, you know, in my Kuchezov, it's every other salvo, at least, at a bare minimum, every other salvo is a fire. what it does, it makes all the battleships not want to push in and not want to play the objective. Well, then they sit at the back, and then what happens with that? Then cruisers sit at the back, because if they push up, they're the only ones getting shot at. And then because of that, DDs don't have any support, so then it's a DD versus DD battle, and that's all it is. So it's just making everybody play extremely passive. And battleships have to give up all of their gun ability, all their accuracies, to try to build for anti-fire builds. And even then, you get caught on fire all the time. So it's just made it to where the HE spamming nonstop fires on battleships has made the game kind of stale. So, and how would I change that? I mean, it's just a simple reduce the fire chance of, especially of the ships that are, 10 seconds, 8 seconds. Those ships shouldn't be anywhere near 20% chance of fire. And that's coming from me being a cruiser player. I mean, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I'm gonna pop up and make the devil speak. Pick up a ship that you want to break the game. I mean, you have a list of the of ships that were campaign ships. They are now sitting in the dark. So I'm gonna ask you, both of you, if you want to break a game, especially on that meta that we have at the moment, which ship you gonna bring to people with green XP?
Talking about you said ships that we already have?
Or have or had? I mean,
okay.
Any ship from the past that has been a campaign ship, but now you want to implement it as a in-ship XP to break the game. You can say Zempar, you can say Kutuzov. So give us a name that you think that if that ship is gonna be for green XP, it's gonna ruin the game and the meta.
That's... I mean, I would say... to ruin the meta, I mean, the meta's just non-stop the fire spamming. Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for that one. You kind of got me there. I mean, the Kuchezov, if the Kuchezov was with Global XP, I mean, we all know what it was like. I don't know how many people don't have the Kuchezov, but when the Kuchezov came out, it changed the game, and it just made it to where it sucked to be a battleship player. Exactly. It absolutely ruined the game, I thought, and I still think to this day that the Kuchezov / Atago, the fire chances is what's broken it. But they brought out the Kuchezov, and then they gave it a heal after that, and it was strong as crap without the heal. So I would say Kuchezov.
Yeah, I can only echo that. I'm sure you could hear that, because when Kutuzov came out, I actually stopped playing the game for a while, because I really thought it was a terrible ship. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, like Hiker says, I think most players already have Kutuzov.
I mean, it's also same part. I mean, people bloody want the part to come back, because we have new players. I know that both of us, we all here from the beginning of the game, so we have that ship, most of that. But some new players want the part back, global XP, or make it possible have anything for gaming the mechanic to implement Zimbar. Do you think that if Wargaming implements the Zimbar be accessible to all the players, will that thing ruin the game? Because as I read, and as community manager stated before, that they don't have plans about Zimbar, but it is the most popular ship that people want back.
I don't see a problem.
What's your thoughts on what's your thoughts? Will that ship, I mean, it is monstrous to have the Zimbar, I know, but will you think that now it will break the game?
Not at all.
I
don't think that the Jean Bart is a particularly strong ship, really. You know, I don't know what the spreadsheet says, but I'll tell you right now, Jean Bart's not one of the battleships that I really worry about. It's very easily countered. It's not real great. It's kind of a one-trick pony. Out of all the ships that could come out for Global XP, the Jean Bart's the one where it'd be nice. Hey, that's cool. Okay, more people have it, but it's not hard to counter. I don't think it would break the game at all.
I agree. It was in the beginning when it first came out. It was a new fancy toy, and it's quite easy to play. So people like it. But yeah, I agree. I don't see much problem in that.
He's asking, what is your opinion on all DD commanders having the new twist and track ability? The good and the bad about it. Let's go with Hippo on this one.
Oh, I love it. I love when destroyer captains pick that skill because then I know if they spawn at the cap where I spawn immediately. So the more destroyers that have that skill, the better for me. So I have no problems with it at all. It makes it a lot easier to deduce who spawns where, and if you have ingenious on your cruiser as well, then the destroyer might as well almost be spotted then. I'm exaggerating a little bit there, of course.
I'm not just arguing to argue here, but I think that it was great to bring it out for the French DD line. I think that the French needed it. I don't think that the British need it, and I think that with the Lightning was already a very good DD, if not the best DD at Tier 7, just for its utility. Having the turrets that it has, the good rate of fire, the smokes, it has all 6 smokes, it has the hydro, it has good torps. The advantage that the Fletcher had on, ambushing a Lightning is gone now. And so I think the Lightning is going to be overpowered with Twist and Track even more so than it was before. Other than that, I like the fact that it was brought out, especially with you can make more custom builds, such as Japanese DD builds with Perceptive, even on like Reizo Tanaka and stuff. So opening those options up as far as having extra abilities for unique builds is awesome. I just don't think the British should have gotten it. I think it's going to break Tier 7 a little bit with the Lightning. They might need to nerf the Lightning a little bit, I don't know. But I think that it's going to make it the number 1 DD by far.
Yeah. Lightning is strong. I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference though. I guess we'll find out soon.
Well, here's a very, very good question. I think, of course, previous podcasts we had, Wargaming said they will not be implementing SAP, as you know. And Lemon here is asking a very good question. Should the Italians, mostly the cruisers, get more love, either with SAP or lower reloads? Do you believe that they'll be fine where they are at the moment? HighCal?
Without SAP, I don't think that there's any reason to play them, really. They have their exhaust smoke. Yeah, that's unique. It's fun to play with something a little different. But they just don't have anything that is real great about them. Granted, they can do the long range HE spamming. But we have multiple nations that can do that, and if that's how you're going to play, all of the other nations, in my opinion, are better at doing the long range HE spamming. I don't see any advantage to playing the Italians. So, and I've played all the way through the Tier 7 and played many matches trying to make them good or above average or something unique. I wanted to kind of maybe have that be my thing, and then realize that there's no point in playing them. So I think without SAP, there's no reason. They definitely need SAP for sure.
Okay, Emper, your view on this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Tier 7 is acceptable. It's not great, and I do miss a sonar on it. Terribly, I do. So it's one of my lowest ranked Tier 7 ships. because it doesn't really excel in anything, and it's a little bit disappointing. So yeah, introducing SAP or something to make them stand out a little bit would be good, I think. And I think for certain something is needed for everything below tier 7, and also the premiums. And I heard in the Wargaming video the other day that they were thinking of putting SAP on the premium Italian cruisers, which I think is a good idea. And hopefully they will expand that to the whole line. Because there's really nothing special about them other than the rolling smoke, and that's very situational.
For me personally, the reload is just a bit too long. That's also one of the biggest features that I don't like about it. Well, that gets back to Mojo. You're asking this is kind of a standard for me, but I'm always curious what ship people select when they just want to play the ship for fun, not to carry, not because it's the best, but because it's the fun and they enjoy the ship. Cal, let's start with you. What's your get-to-go-to fun ship?
Currently, right now, it's the Wooster. Before I got the Wooster 2 weeks ago, the Atlanta. Loved going around the Atlanta. Just that same kind of playstyle, really, but actively trying to get near caps and radar DDs and making DDs squirm. I love making DDs, squirm like little rats, and makes me chuckle when I come around the corner on them. But the Wooster right now with the AA and the ability to actually counter a Shima, I'm really having fun getting, just that thing is just a beast of a ship if you play it right. So the Wooster for me, 100%.
For me it's probably the Cheshire, actually, because it's just a really, really, really fun ship to play, I think, and it's mostly fun because most people underestimate it totally. No one really plays it, so not many people realize it has torps, for example, and that it's just fun to play. And like Albemarle is a very close second. Of course, they are not like easy ships, and sometimes you get absolutely swatted in them, but they are some of the most fun cruisers, I think. So that would be Cheshire, I think, if I had to pick.
Okay, that's... Rogue, let me please add something, because I'm seeing things that if you ask members of the community, what is your favorite ship, all that stuff, no one is gonna pick up a legendary ship. That's for sure. I can feel that people, they don't play legendary. We know the problems. I mean, we, the community, we know the problems on the legendary tier. So surprisingly, I was surprised with the HighCaliber reply on the Wooster, because it's a very, very rare ship to see in a tier, in a legendary tier, and also it's a very, very hard style to play the Wooster appropriately. So I was surprised.
I think that's why I like playing it. I can catch people off guard, that kind of stuff. That's fun to me. I enjoy it. And then, shoot, my game right before jumping on this podcast, I got 50 planes shot down. And so it's just a different style of play. And, I think it solves a lot of the problems in Legendary. I think the number one problem in Legendary is the dang Shimikazes and Kleberts not having a real good counter. And it fills that role. So, I like it.
Nice. Also, I'm gonna counter the hitters. So it is a player, because that ship, Caesar, is very rare also to see in the matchmaking. I mean, haven't seen one in 10 or 15 games only in the tier that Caesar appears. So I know that that ship, it's easy to be played, but I don't know why people don't prefer, especially with the CVs and all the airplanes around, because I know that the capability of the anti-air guns is very good. So what's your comment here on the Sicily ship? What that ship is capable of on the right hands, and why is not getting the love.
Are you referring to Cheshire or Albemarle? So Cheshire. I don't know. I guess it's a little bit underwhelming in stats other than anti-aircraft, and I mean it is a premium ship, so it costs money, and there's, like, to be honest, there are better ships out there to spend your money on. So it's very much a niche ship, and like you say, like, you never see it in the spread. I think I've seen it a handful of times.
I would like the people, the audience that are listening, maybe if they can also ask. I mean, they can follow up with some questions, pop it in chat.
I mean, if you pick something on the chat that you need to bring it up, don't hesitate, bring it up. But I think that we're gonna give the community the opportunity to ask some questions when we are finished with our official library of the questions. So we're gonna give the community the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, that's the idea. So that's why I'm asking. Okay. To this last one, and we can discuss while that's going on. Get the other questions as well.
I mean, we are on time. We are at the moment, we are 45 minutes talking, so we're gonna close up soon.
This one is from the real Freddie Mercury. He's asking, what's your dream division with ship division 3?
Yeah, I'm not, like, the battleship I'm not completely sure about, but I picked Massachusetts, and I was, like, picking between Massachusetts and Monarch, but I ended up going with Massachusetts for the battleship, and then Lightning, like a duo of Lightning and Edinburgh. That's what I find you can do, like, amazing stuff with, especially the Lightning and Edinburgh mix. You can pull off some amazing things with those two ships when they are working together and like are in a division, and you have good players running them. Like I said, I've seen some crazy stuff pulled off. So that would be mine: Massachusetts, Lightning, and Edinburgh. A radar Edinburgh, that is.
3 top ships for the division.
My 3 top ships, I kind of came up with something because we don't quite have it yet. Hopefully someday. But my dream division would be a Conqueror, a Worcester, and a Midway. Without a doubt. I think that would be overpowered as hell.
Are we done with the questions, with the official questions? I think that we are done. So if any member of the community at the moment they are listening now wants to place a questions and wants to speak, so please be our guest, but we can only put up names that we have seen. Okay, HighCaliber, anything to close the stage, or Hipper, you want the last word or something?
Yeah, I mean, I know that we talked to when we did the whole little mic check test event, but I think this was really good. Unfortunately, I think we agreed on more stuff than it is the best for being able to debate each other, but hey, that's not a bad thing. So going back to the whole, we talked about this the other day, and I think that the community, or some people in the community, have wanted or hoped that this was more of a drama-filled thing than it was going to be. And I think like we talked about, Hipper and I are both grown adults, and it's been done for months now. So it's a good way to debate and have a nice chat, and I didn't expect anything different. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate the invite and the idea to do this. So.
Yeah, I just want to say the same. Yeah, that thanks for setting this up, and thanks for all the community guys who are listening in, and probably get a little bit more of a realistic picture of both myself and HighCal.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thank you, community, for being here. See you next time on another stage. Bye bye.